Okay, we're here today to go over batching versus one-piece flow. And we're working with the fine folks from Digital Dental Leaders. They're going to be here to help us go through this exercise. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to run 24 cards through this process, and the intent is to learn the difference between how fast we go. A batch of 6, a batch of 4, a batch of 2, or one-piece flow. What we're also going to do is we're going to measure when we get the first piece. Because imagine that somebody's waiting on this inventory, and so how long will they have to wait before they get their first one? And then the other thing would be is how long does it take to actually run out 24 cards? So here's the way the drill is going to go. Notice that each of you have a pen, and I have 4 stacks of 6 that I'm going to go ahead and pass around to you. Here's what I want you to do when you get the stack. And try to stay as close to this as you can. Think of it in terms of some kind of a manufacturing fixture or a process that will only allow you to do it this way. Okay? So here's what you're going to do. The stack's going to come to you, and you're going to do this. Stop, and then you're going to pass it to the next person. Okay? Now, nothing too particular about it, right? There's no stringent quality requirement, right? Just try to cover it the best that you can. You're gonna have to do both sides. You just have to remember you have to do it in order. You do this way, this way, this way, this way. Turn it over, and then do it again, right? And then once you're done with it, pass the stack to the next person, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to measure to see how long it takes us to get all 24 cards through, as well as when we get the first piece. So is everybody ready to go? Do you understand? Any questions? I think so. Okay, you ready? Go.
It's a little unnerving. I need a machine to do this.
I'm a robot. I'm still waiting.
I'm nervous. You're gonna be waiting a while.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that time. That was waste.
Don't wait on him.
Get better at it.
I feel fairly unproductive.
Who's paying your salary?
Yeah. That's right.
So tempted to grab them.
No touchy.
This is competitive. Do machines get competitive? Can they tell when the machine next to them is getting close to being
We've got quality pieces right here, let me tell you.
So notice there was no real stringent quality requirement, right?
Right.
And imagine if quality was part of this, what that would do time-wise, right?
Right. My line's pretty good, but the others.
The reason you're using
Yeah, if it has 40. Looks like we double marked. Double marked. I'll cover.
I'm waiting on him. That's right.
Oh, you didn't mark it all on this one.
What?
What do we do here?
I
It's a
confused
defect.
Maybe.
myself.
Actually, maybe it wasn't covered.
You can tell by the color, that's the other identifying factor.
All I know is the
No.
gray was perfect.
Me.
Look at this. Those look too similar.
Stop talking.
We work. That's right.
No fun will be had.
right to left, not left to right. It was inefficient. Yeah, it did help me to go left.
No, start.
Well, that's
No,
what I'm saying.
no,
It was helpful to
go
go
right
left
to
to right.
left.
It should be right to left.
Correct, yeah.
That would be more efficient.
Oh, no.
I was just about to say we gotta get John. Get John make the trouser. Not now, no. I was gonna say, before that little fumble, man.
Nate, the other thing is you were
Okay.
All right. All right.
So I switched that.
Okay, gentlemen.
So, as you're already making observations, right?
That's right.
What did you find out? What did you notice about how you handled it? Did everybody do it the same way, first of all?
Nope.
No.
No, they didn't, right? I showed you how to do it, and everybody had a different way of doing it,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to you. Anytime you're working a line, you're going to find people are going to fall into their own way of doing stuff, right?
The right way.
Well, here's the thing, right? In this particular case, it's a little bit forgiving because of the way the mark is made. In some other cases, it might not be. It may need to be more precise than that. And if somebody isn't doing it exactly the way they're supposed to do it, they may take longer or they may take shorter. Either way, they're not following standard work. Now, there's nothing wrong with somebody doing that if they happen to fall into it. You might want to just look at it and go, you know what, they have a better way, right? And understand what's going on. Then again, maybe they don't. And it's just a matter of trying to help them out. The other thing too is did you notice how hard were these to handle?
It's tricky. They would slide.
They would, wouldn't they?
Right.
They would. They weren't always easy to handle, which also affected how fast you went. Did any of you notice how well you were doing at the beginning versus how well you were doing at the end? Yeah,
Well,
I think you were.
I learned where
Yeah.
to do it on this side. It would be inconsistent.
And let's see here. So let's put up the times and see what we're looking at. We got our first piece at 120 and 133 seconds. Was when we got our first piece. This is all in seconds, by the way. We'll do that. And the entire run took us 3 minutes 43. So that's what, 180. Another 43 would be what? 223? Yeah. So that and again, we're in seconds when we do this. So that's how long it took. So if I'm a customer, I had to wait 133 seconds to get my first piece, right? And for all of you, it took 223 seconds to do 24 cards. Okay, we're going to alter the experiment just a little bit. Here's what we're going to do this time. This time, we're going to do 4 cards, but it's still 24. And the way I'll pass them to you is this way, and then you just go ahead and finish it out like this. So we'll have a set of plaids when we're done. That's what's going to happen, okay? Now let me make sure I've done my job. So I have 4, 4, and 4, and 4, and then I pass them to you correctly, because that's going to be half the battle here.
Marking from the bottom to the top instead
It's more comfortable for me.
You know, it's just.
How did you do it? You did it right.
I did top to bottom only because it might have worked that better. Once it's in the fixture, right, this way or this way, it really, if you think from a time perspective, it doesn't really make any difference, right? All right, just a second. Let me clear the watch. I need to do the right thing and get them to you the right way. So we'll do the same thing again this time. We'll do 6 sets of 4. It's still 24 cards. Let's see how long it takes, okay? You ready? Let's go.
There you go.
that'd be interesting though, was it faster to flip it on every one?
Well, everybody wants to do that, right? That's kind of the point. The fixture won't let you.
Can you guys start from like left to right? So instead of using the way see later, how to kind of fit up for what it doesn't. Yeah. These products are not very uniform. How happy our customers are going to be.
Oh,
My line's a six.
authenticity.
Well, the cards.
Micah, yours are waiting. Oh, here.
By the way, cutting the cards on a bandsaw is much easier than do it by scissors and a level. That's what I use for the tape measure.
Cardboard, man.
Okay. I got 4 lines on that side again. I don't know. And, uh-oh, only 2 lines on another side. Someone marked them twice on one side and not on another.
Hurry up, John.
I think I put my line over somebody else's.
I had an extra line on one side though.
Yeah, the quality, you know.
All of us are on the pot here.
You're definitely gonna make a point.
I don't know where to make my line.
I'm varying it based on where I
It's like all over the place.
Oh. The Clorox.
This is the worst.
No pressure.
When everybody-
Starting when everybody's watching.
Okay. All right. The first piece came this time in 89 seconds.
Time went down and quality went down.
And overall time, 2 minutes 26 would be what, 146 seconds? 147,
166, right?
right?
A minute. What?
120 plus 26?
Yeah.
So 146, we'll call it 147. 147 seconds. Okay, so how do you explain that? I still did 24 cards.
Things could move along more gradually. Yeah, we didn't sit as long waiting for the batches. We got to them sooner
Why not?
because they were finishing them faster, so they worked down the line faster.
Why? As part of it, right? Part of it was just learning curve, right? What else?
It's easy to have more people working. That's the first piece.
When you're doing
getting that
this.
done.
Well, that's kind of a result. Go ahead. Well, you touched on it.
When you're doing this, you're handling it once, and then you're flipping it, and then you're passing it again. So we're cutting down the amount of times that we're making this motion.
Exactly. You reduce the amount of handling.
Right.
That's why you're faster. You got better at it, and you cut down your motion. That's why you're faster. So always think about it in those terms. A lot of what you saw was the result of having reduced the motion. But what is it that got you there? I got rid of the motion. I got rid of the motion.
Still handling the same number of cards.
Even, that's right.
How can you expound on? I'm confused how that's reducing motion. I still have to do this with the same number of cards.
Well, think about how difficult it is to handle the cards at 6 and how you fumble them a little bit. Which is not to say you still don't do it with 4, but
Less like-
it's a little bit easier to handle, right?
Gotcha.
So nobody's waiting on me either
Well, that's a result.
for the last 2. Okay.
But that's a result. But that's because first of all, right, you don't have to do 6, you have to do 4.
Right.
That's right. The other part of it is you're not handling them as quite the same way as well. So you're right about when you cut the batch size down, you are going to speed up. But the other reason that you speed up is because I'm not handling it as much. Anytime bigger the batch, the more you handle. That's the real lesson here. So let's do the next one. This time we'll do batches of 2. It shouldn't take me too long to get set up. Actually, what I'll do is I'll set up as we go. A little easier to do that. Same thing as last time, right? Still follow the same process. And what I'll do then is try to get this out to you the best I can. And we'll see how long this takes you. And you tell me when you're ready to go. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Right.
There's less room for mess up here too.
Right. have to remember that it's like a 44.
Which side?
I start to
Yeah,
get
did you
confused.
flip it already? Oh, that one has to go.
Those are good lines right there. Doesn't get any better. Good product, I can see.
Quality improved.
You switch sides there.
What's it over? What? No, it threw me. I went, where'd it go? I don't know how I did it.
On this side of the table, you look left-handed.
It looks awkward.
All right. Okay, numbers this time. $39 seconds for the first piece. Total time, minute 53, which would be what, 60, 130, yeah, 113, we'll call it 114. 114 seconds. Yeehaw. I heard you guys talk as you were going, and you were all touching on why this is quicker. I heard you say it a couple of times.
Well, I loved it. I had less to process. Like 1, 2, and then I'm flipping and starting something new. For some reason, I'll do the first 1 or 2, and all of a sudden I forget what I'm doing, like my third or fourth one. So I have to kind of rethink it. Now, I don't know if that's a human thing, not a machine thing, but it really helped me to simplify it.
It did. It was simpler. What else did you notice?
And even remembering if you flip the stack, you know, it's like you get 4 or 6 cards into it, and it's like, am I on the first side or the second side, as opposed to when you're doing, 2. It's a whole lot easier to know. Okay, I'm on side number 1 still.
It balanced out the flow where one of us is fumbling or we get confused or something. The other person's not waiting as long as they have a small little batch we're sending over. He doesn't have to wait for us to finish that whole stack before he can do anything.
That's right. Notice the work. Not everybody was kind of working at the same time, even though we kind of started and stopped at different times. It started to level out a little more, right? Okay. Now here's what we're going to do this time. I'll try to pass it to you this way. One piece flow, and this is what everybody's been wanting to do: is flip that doggone card over. So whenever you're ready, you let me know. Everybody understand what we're doing?
Yeah, we're getting under a minute.
Mark?
Yes.
Are you guys ready?
Under a minute.
You guys better.
Okay.
56 seconds.
56 seconds. You have to beat the all-time record.
Let's not drop quality here either.
As long as we got the time, it's good about the quality, right?
Oh, Nathan, your hand up. Maybe sit down.
And machines don't complain.
Is that what this is about?
Come on, we got
We're competitive here, aren't we?
Oh,
We
yeah.
don't even know who we're competing against.
ourselves. We're competing against the time, not the
That's an adrenaline rush.
Not cold anymore.
Oh,
Minute 14. That's quite good, by the way. Okay, all right. Got our first piece in 15 seconds. Wow. Look at the difference between here and there. It's huge, right? Overall 114, so we went, 74 seconds, call 75, right? So there's the ratio, right?
That's remarkable.
It is. And you know what?
that's amazing.
And no matter how many times I run this game, the relative speed always seems to work out like this. It is. It's amazing how that works. But you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's some other questions that you might want to ask here, and I heard you mention it before. One of you did. Oh, was it Ben? Yeah, I'm just thinking about starting and stopping, about leaving the line full and not leaving it full. Yeah, this is an opportunity here, depending upon what your product is. Ordinarily, what would you do? You're running, time to quit. What do? You run it out or you leave it alone?
In theory, you should leave it.
You should leave it if you can.
Yeah.
If it's something that has to cure, you have no choice.
Right.
But if it doesn't, leave it there. Leave it, right? And then everybody comes in, they pick up right where they left off, and the line just starts moving, right? Starts moving right where it was. Now, the other thing is, just so that you know, we always talk about moving counterclockwise in a cell. This time we went clockwise. Let's talk about the difference in a minute. Why are we doing counterclockwise when we do a cell?
Grass is left-handed.
Yeah. Move left. Yeah.
That's right. You work with your right and pass with your left, and you're back to back, right? This time we face each other. So all we did by going clockwise was actually we duplicated the same thing, right? You're working with your right, you're passing with your left. So when you face each other, you want to go clockwise. When you are back to back, you want to go counterclockwise. Now, if you're left-handed, you learn how to live it like we all have to. Being a lefty, so I get all that. You guys have any other questions about the drill?
I'm still trying to understand what you were saying about the reduced movement. I felt like my initial impression is most of what sped it up was the fact that with one piece flow or two as opposed to four, it got to us sooner. So we were all working at the same time faster than with a big batch size. But I understand there is less fumbling with a smaller stack, but
I didn't have to stack it.
Right. You just went right to the next person.
Stack it, move it back, flip it.
But you had to pass every one of them.
I know, but I had to do that anyway.
You had.
But I had to put it in a stack, and then put it on a stack, and put it on a stack. Whereas, and then I had to pull it back, flip it over, move it, move it, move it. So I had to do that 2 times.
Well, you did it. You passed 24 times. You passed 12 times. Right. You passed. Right. It was 4 times when it's 6.
Yeah.
But you had to stack and flip every other time.
Yes, that's the motion.
And that's the motion. That's the motion. So you all you did was swap one form of waste for another, but in this particular case, the waste you swapped for was less, right? Because the pass is still non-value added activity, but it's so much faster than doing it the other way, right? And that's going to happen to you. Don't be afraid to think that if I'm going to another form of waste, that I did bad. No, if it takes less time, you did good. You did good, and then eventually you learn how to drive that down, right? So, and that's the other thing about waste. What you'll realize, it is opaque. Okay, you can't see through it. All you can see is what's in front of you at the time. So as you fix it, you uncover the next level, and then you go, "Oh, I can do that too." But you can't see that until you get rid of the other, because it covers it. And understand that's why so many people talk about this being a journey, because it is. You never quite get there, right? You get real close, you get really good, you make things really good for your people. You add profit margin to what you're doing. You become very competitive, but you never stop. There's always something that you can do somewhere along the line that makes it a little better, and that includes the office as well. Because those processes are just like manufacturing processes. They are a process. They have steps, and they fall into the same traps that manufacturing do. You know, you can batch with those. You can double handle those. You can overproduce in those. And just think of them that way. You just use a different set of tools to solve their problems, but they're identical when it comes time to fix them, and they're just as eligible to be fixed. And you want to think about that as you go forward in your business as well, right? Because the business system has to keep up with what you do, and you don't want the tail wagging the dog. You don't want the business system deciding how you do business. You want to do it the other way around. How you do business is how you're going to develop your business system. And I see an awful lot of companies that do it the other way around. They get forced into it. So even if you want to innovate, you can't because your business system won't let you. Don't let it. And the first time you see it happen, fix it. Fix it. And remember, never fix blame, fix the problem. Right? Okay. You guys have any other questions about it? You think you could run the game yourself if you had to?
Yes.
Good. Good. That's the point. That's the point. because you want to be able to spread this out to all your employees. And
Production.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
you think about total time to run the game, I don't think we took that long.
No.
It went fairly quickly. The setup's the key, so if you do that ahead of time, when it comes time to run your folks through it, you can do this. And that's the reason for doing the video, is to let people see this. So maybe you can't run the game, maybe you can't cut the cards, but hey, sit down, I want you to watch this. And then talk about it. But it's always much more fun to participate because you learn so much more.
Very good. Thank you.
Well, thank you
so much.
very much. I love doing this with you guys. This is great. Well, that's the end of this video. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and hit the subscribe button. Also, turn on the notification bell to get notified every time I upload.